In this video, I'm going to solve this question. A bookseller estimates the probabilities for the number of weekly sales of a particular magazine as follows. So we are given different values for number of sales and the corresponding probabilities. So the number of weekly sales, that is denoted by the random variable X. So this is denoted by the random variable X. It can take 6 values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these are the corresponding probabilities that we have. Okay. There are two parts that we have in this question. In the first part, they are asking us to find the mean and standard deviation of the number of sales. So I'm taking the number of sales as the random variable X. Okay. And I'm taking X because over here they have written X notations, right? So this is how I'm defining the random variable. Now, because we have to find the mean and the standard deviation of the number of sales, it boils down to finding expected value of X and the standard deviation of X. Okay, so we have to find the mean of number of sales, that is we have to find expected value of X. Now, before we talk about the formula that we have to find the expected value of X, first of all, note that over here, X is a discrete random variable because it can take finite values. It can only take 6 values. Okay, so X is a discrete random variable, and for a discrete random variable, expected value of X is equal to this. Right? So this is the formula that we have for the expected value of X. In this formula, we have to multiply all the values of X with their corresponding probabilities, and then we have to add. Okay. So we are going to multiply 0 by 0.12, and then we have to add. Okay. The multiplication of these two, that is 1 multiplied by 0.16 plus the multiplication of these two, 2 multiplied by 0.31 plus the multiplication of these two plus the multiplication of these two and plus the multiplication of these two. Okay, so this is how we find the expected value of X. So as it's written over here, expected value of X is equal to this. You solve this, you will get expected value of X is equal to 2.29. So the mean number of sales is equal to 2.29. Now the next thing that we have to find is the standard deviation of the number of sales, that is SDX. Now we know that the standard deviation is actually equal to the under root of the variance, and I personally feel much more comfortable working with the variance. So I'm first going to find the value of the variance, and then in the end I will just take the under root to go from variance to standard deviation. Okay, so let's find the variance first for this particular case. So we have to find the variance of the number of sales, right? And the random variable that we have is X. That means we are going to find the variance of X. Now the formula that we have to find the variance of X is this. Okay, so we have expected value of X square minus expected value of X whole square. So we already know what is expected value of X, right? So this part is something that we already know. We got that this is equal to 2.29. So to find the variance of X, we now need to figure out expected value of X square. Okay, how can we figure out the expected value of X square? Well, think of X square as a random variable. Okay, so X square is also a random variable because X is a random variable. So we are going to use the same logic that we used over here. Basically, whenever you want to find the expected value of any random variable, okay, how do we do that? We do summation. We write the values of those random variable multiplied by the corresponding probability. So over here we write the values, and over here we have corresponding probabilities. Okay, so corresponding probabilities, right? So whatever the values are, we keep on multiplying those values of the random variable with corresponding probability, and then we add all of them. So that's how we find the expected value of any random variable. Okay, so we are going to do the same thing over here. Over here, we have to find the expected value of X square. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to find the values of the random variable X square, and then we will also talk about the corresponding probabilities. Okay, so let's do that. So as you can see in this table, the values of X are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the possible values of X. Now, if these are the possible values of X, what are going to be the possible values of X square? The possible values of X square are going to be 0, 1, 4, 9, 16 and 25. That is the square of these 5 values. Okay, so these 5 are the possible values of X square, right? So we got the possible values of X square. Now the next thing that we have to figure out is what is the corresponding probability. So what is the probability that X square is going to take the value 0? Well, the answer is 0.12. The reason being, the probability that X square will be equal to 0 is actually equal to the probability that X will be equal to 0. Right? Because if X equal to 0, then X square is also equal to 0. What's the probability that X square equal to 1? So the probability that X square will be equal to 1, this is actually equal to the probability that X equal to 1. right? What's the probability that x square is equal to 4? This is actually equal to the probability that x equal to 2. Okay, so these probabilities that you see over here, these also work for this. So that means we will have the same corresponding probabilities that we had in the case of x. Okay, and now we can use this information to find the expected value of x square. So it is going to be 0 multiplied by 0.12 plus 1 multiplied by 0.16 plus 4 multiplied by 0.31 plus 9 multiplied by 0.20 plus the multiplication of these two plus the multiplication of these two, right? That is 25 multiplied by 0.07. Once you do that, you will get this 7.19. So I've written the entire thing over here as well, right? Over here I've also written the propositions. So if you want to talk in a formal manner, then this is how we find the expected value of a function of x. Basically this hx that you see over here, this is a function of x, which is in our case x square. So over here we have expected value of x square, and this is equal to summation small x square, which denotes the possible values, multiplied by p of x. So p of x means the same probabilities that we have over here. X square means the possible values that we have over here. So you're multiplying these two columns and then you're taking the sum. Okay, so this is the proposition if you want to talk in terms of formal manner. In our case, h of x is equal to x square. So when we use this proposition, we get this 7.19. Now note that 7.19 is not the final answer we were looking for. 7.19 is just the expected value of x square. Our purpose in this question is to figure out the standard deviation of x. Okay, so now that we know expected value of x square, so we know that expected value of x square is 7.19. We also know expected value of x, it is equal to 2.29. It's written over here. So this is equal to 2.29. So variance of x is going to be what? It is going to be 7.19, that is expected value of x square minus 2.29 whole square. Okay, and now when you solve this, you will get that this is equal to 1.95. So the variance of x is coming out to be 1.95. It's written over here. And now we have to find the standard deviation of x, which is just the positive square root of variance of x. So you take the square root of 1.95, you will get 1.396. So this is the standard deviation of x. Okay, so that's it for the first part. In this part, we had to find the mean of x and the standard deviation of x. Now let's move to the second part of this question. So we have the same question, and now in this question, we are going to do this part number 2. Okay, this part over here. So same question, same information. And now in the second part, it's written as weekly income, the salesperson receives a fixed amount of rupees 200 plus a commission of rupees 150 for each sale made. Find the mean and the standard deviation of this weekly income. Okay, so first of all, let's say that this weekly income is denoted by y, right? Now, what is the expression for y that we are going to get? He's getting a fixed amount of 200. So y is equal to 200. 200 does not depend on the amount of sale made, plus a commission of rupees 150 for each sale made. And what is the notation that we have for the number of sales? X. Okay, so x is a random variable which is denoting the number of sales. So that means y will become equal to 200 plus 150x. Okay, so this is 150 multiplied by the number of sales made, right? Because for each sale made, you're getting 150, and this is a fixed commission that you're getting. So your weekly income is going to be 200 plus 150x, right? So this is what your y is equal to. And then they're asking you to find the mean and the standard deviation of this weekly income. That means we have to find the expected value of y and we have to find the standard deviation of y. So in this question, we have to figure out expected value of y and the standard deviation of y. Now, first of all, let's talk about the expected value of y, that how can we find that? Basically, there are two methods to find expected value of y. One of the methods is a long method and the other method is a short method. So first, I'm going to show you the short method and then I will also show you the long method. Ideally, from your exam point of view, you should always give preference to the short method because you will be able to save some time that way. Okay. So in the short method, we are actually going to use some of the properties of expectations to get the expected value of y. Okay, so let's see how can we do that. So y is equal to 200 plus 150x and we have to find the expected value of y. So expected value of y is equal to expected value of this. Right? Now, this is one of the properties of the expected values, that expected value of ax plus b is equal to a multiplied by expected value of x plus b, where a and b are constants and x is a random variable. So you can use this property directly over here. It's just that in our case, a is equal to 150 and b is equal to 200. Okay, you can write this expression as expected value of 150x plus 200. So a is equal to 150 and b is equal to 200. So using this property, we can write that expected value of y is actually equal to 150 multiplied by expected value of X plus 200. Okay, right? And now we know expected value of X because we found that in the first part. So if I scroll up, we can find the expected value of X over here. The expected value of X is 2.29. Okay, it's written over here. So this becomes 150 multiplied by 2.29 plus 200. Okay, and now we can just solve this and this will give us the answer. So the answer is that expected value of Y is 200 plus 150 multiplied by 2.29. So this comes out to be 543.5. Okay, so this is the expected value of Y, and this is the short method where you directly use this proposition and find the answer. The long method is that you first try to figure out the possible values of Y, and then you try to figure out the corresponding probabilities, and then you multiply the possible values with the corresponding probabilities and do the summation. Okay, so let me show you that as well. So this is the long method. Basically, in the long method, to find the expected value of Y, we are first going to figure out the possible values of Y. So what is Y? Y is equal to 200 plus 150x. And what are the possible values of X? The possible values of X are these: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what will be the possible values of Y? The possible values of Y will be, if X equal to 0, the value of Y is 200. If X equal to 1, the value of Y is 350. If X equal to 2, the value of Y is 500, and so on. So this second column over here is showing you the possible values of Y. And over here we have the probabilities of X. These are also the probabilities of Y. Okay, because what is the probability that Y will take the value 200? Well, Y will take the value 200 when X takes the value 0. So the probability of Y being equal to 200 is equal to the probability that X is equal to 0. Okay, similarly, what's the probability that Y will take the value 350? Y takes the value 350 when X takes the value 1. So the probability that Y is equal to 350 is equal to the probability that X is equal to 1, which is equal to 0.16 only. Okay, so nothing changes about the probability. You can use the same probability over here, right? So to find the expected value of Y, all we have to do is we have to multiply these two columns and then we have to sum accordingly. So expected value of Y is going to be 200 multiplied by 0.12 plus 350 multiplied by 0.16 plus multiplication of these two plus multiplication of these two plus multiplication of these two and plus multiplication of these two. So if you do this multiplication, you will get expected value of Y is equal to this. Okay, so this is a long method to find the expected value of Y. As you can see, you have to do a lot of calculation in this method. So first you have to find all the possible values of Y, that is this column number 2. So you have to do a lot of calculations over here. After these calculations, you have to do a lot of calculations over here as well. So this method is actually a long method, and as there are a lot of calculations involved, the chances of making silly mistakes also increases. So it's preferred that wherever possible, try to work with the properties of the expected value. It will save you a lot of time and the chances of making silly mistakes will also be less. Okay. So now that we have got expected value of Y, it is coming out to be 543.5. In the question, they asked us to find the mean of this weekly income, that is the expected value of Y, which we have found, and the standard deviation of the weekly income. That is, now we have to find the standard deviation of Y. Okay, and once again, before finding the standard deviation of Y, I'm going to find the variance of Y, and then in the end, I will just take the under root. Okay, so this is how your Y is defined. Now, variance of Y is equal to variance of this. Now, an easier way to find the variance of Y is just to use the properties of variance. So one of the properties of variance is this, that variance of AX plus B is equal to A square variance of X, where A and B are constants and X is a random variable. So I'm going to use this property of variance. So this can be written as variance of 150X plus 200. In our case, A is equal to 150 and B is equal to 200. So if I use this property, then we have A square variance of X. That means we have 150 square multiplied by variance of X. Okay, and now we know that 150 square is equal to 22,500, and variance of X is something that we already know because we found this in the first part. So if I scroll over here, then you can see that variance of X is equal to 1.95. We found this in the first part, so we can just put that value over here. So in this case, now we have 150 whole square multiplied by variance of X. Variance of X is 1.95. That means variance of Y is going to be 22,500 multiplied by 1.95, which is equal to this. Okay, so this is your variance of Y, and now we have to figure out the standard deviation of Y. So we will just take the under root of this, and when we take the under root, we get that standard deviation of Y is equal to 209.46, and that's the final answer.